The west side of this city is well known for being Toronto's artistic hub, but on the east side of Toronto, one gallery owner wants to establish a new artistic presence. The PM Gallery is located at Dundas Street East near Carlaw. Our artist-at-large, Lupe Rodriguez, dropped by the PM Gallery to meet the woman behind the space.
We sometimes get spoiled by art galleries. They tend to congregate in different areas, Yorkville, West Queen West. And so when we go to one gallery, we end up seeing about 5 exhibitions because we visit all the neighbors. But, by chance, I discovered a new gallery which has opened on Dundas Street East, just close to Carlaw. And I came here a year ago, and I was quite taken. The space is quite attractive, the high ceilings, obviously very lofty-looking space. But let's face it, it's not exactly a destination for galleries. With me is the owner of the gallery, Powell. And I'm curious, Powell, hi, how are you?
Hi.
Now tell me, how did you end up here? Why this location?
I chose this location, as you said, because the space has very large ceilings and a lot of my artists work big. So I really was more concerned about having a space that really showed off the art well as opposed to, having a lot of walk-by traffic. It was more important for me to showcase the work well.
So in terms of getting the people here, because it's not exactly like an easy destination, particularly a lot of artists don't have cars, right? So you have to do the TTC. It's great for the TTC, but how do you get the people here?
I think one of the things that attracts people most is actually going to be the artists that I show, because I have an excellent roster of contemporary Canadian international artists, and I meet collectors at art fairs. I do a lot of art fairs in Toronto and outside of Toronto as well, and you get lots of follow-up with that, and just networking in general. You go to the museum openings. I did volunteer work with the Museum of Contemporary Canadian Art, and I met a lot of people through there.
So I'm quite interested because in terms of your stable of artists, it's not exactly conventional approach to art. They're a little bit sort of on the edge, and they're younger. And you yourself, you're quite young for being a dealer, right? So first of all, let's start off with you. What was your background? How did you end up becoming a dealer at a young age?
I did a degree in art history at York University, and while I did my undergrad, I worked at the Art Gallery of York University under Loretta Yarlow. And when I graduated from that, I was interested in finding out what the commercial art world was like. So I worked with the Christopher Cutts Gallery from 1998 to 2003, and then I decided that I'd like to try hand at it myself. So I had great mentors.
So you've paid your dues, in terms of sort of having been exposed to the art world. And then you go ahead, you open your gallery, and you have artists, such as the one that is coming up in your next exhibition. Whose work is this?
These are sculptures by Edith Dakovic. She's a Canadian artist that lives in Berlin. And these pieces are inflatable sculptures that look like they're made out of some sort of skin-like material with little moles and tattoos on them.
It's true, they do look like body parts to some degree.
Yes. Right now the body of work that she's doing is called Mermaid Products, and they're all nautical flotation devices.
So a work like this, which is not easily accessible, let's see, to the everyday art appreciator, like how else do I say it? It's not exactly your painting on the wall. Who buys this kind of work? Is it someone her own age? Is it the younger generation who's buying this kind of work? Do corporations buy it from you?
I've sold to fine art corporations, contemporary magazines I've sold work to.
So when you take on younger artists, what age range are we talking about?
My youngest is 26. I kind of snapped her right out of art school.
And who's that?
Megan McKnight.
And so usually they're younger. So would their prices be more affordable?
Yeah, emerging artists the price points tend to be a little lower than...
So give me an example. This piece that we were just looking at, how much would that be?
The Life Vest would be $3,200 US.
Okay, so interesting that you actually price them in American dollars.
That's habit. I just got back from an art fair in New York City, so 36 Canadian.
Okay, so it'll be just a little bit higher. So what do you see as your future? Do you think you will stay here, or is there a plan to move closer to the other galleries? Do you feel isolated?
I think I would always stay in the East End. It's a great neighborhood. There's actually a lot of emerging collectors that live in the neighborhood, so more as the gallery is quite young. I just had my 2-year anniversary, and so more and more people are coming by as they recognize the name.
Well, you know what I'm going to suggest? Are you going to be at the art fair, the International Art Fair this year?
I'll be at TF, yeah.
So my suggestion is either come to PM Gallery, and you're open on
Wednesday to Saturday, 11 to 6.
Otherwise, you could also visit PM. It's easy to remember the name, PM Gallery at the International Art Fair. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Lupe Rodriguez, our artist at large, talking with Powell, the curator of the PM Gallery. The gallery located at 1159 Dundas Street East, and that is near Carlisle.